listening to The Issues of Life with radiotherapist and licensed marriage, family, and child counselor John Jolliffe. Stay with us for 60 minutes of insights into ways we can face up to the challenges of everyday living. Now, here's John.
Hello, everyone. This is John Jolliffe, and welcome to another Issue of Life. Are you aware of how much of your life, how much of your day you go through just being so insensitive? Yes, unaware. You're just not conscious. Are you aware of how much of your day you go through that way? I was made aware of that the other day when I made an interesting, subtle, a very small move, a shift, if you will. And that shift and that change was I picked my head up off the ground. I don't know why it is, but I just kind of tend to walk with looking at the ground as if it was so interesting, the asphalt, pavement, the sidewalk, and things like that. I noticed that I was doing it. I became aware of it. And I raised my glance and started looking at things around me, the sky, the buildings, the people. It was interesting. Now you may say, gee, that's a simple, silly little thing. Well, let me tell you all the things that I learned on the other side of the commercial. Let me tell you all the things that I learned from just picking up my eyes. All right? We're going to talk about awareness in just a moment. And in the meantime, why don't you be aware of the phone in front of you and pick up the toll-free line, 1-800-4ISSUES. Get in line. Let's talk about what's important to you. Let's make you more keenly aware. 1-800-447-7837. My name is John Jolliffe. This is John Jolliffe. I was saying in my opening commentary that, awareness is so important. I mean, I can't tell you, you know this. I mean, come on, we're just reviewing old information, aren't we? But how true it is. No change, no permanent growth, no recovery is possible without awareness. There's never been anything that God ever designed that ever replaced a keen sense of knowing oneself. And one of the things that I was so aware of, or became aware of, that I was so unaware of before, is how much of my day it goes on with me looking on the ground. I'll walk out of my office and go to lunch, and I'll walk across the parking lot, and I've got my eyes on the ground. I look, obviously, to see if there's any cars, but there's a lot of things that I'm just not aware of. I think what's happening is that I'm thinking so often. I'm in my head. I'm in my mind. I'm thinking about the next thing or the last thing or something. But where are my eyes? It's almost like I can't do two things at once. I can't think and also see. And so I found that I was having a whole lot of time spent looking at this asphalt parking lot. Listen, I know you do the same thing I do. One of the things that I know about myself is I'm very much like you. So I want you to lift your eyesight. I want you to lift your vision a little bit. I want you to look around you the next time you go out the door or down the hall. I want you to look up. It's amazing. Your perspective will be changed. Now, we all have this experience. How much of our lives, how much of our days we go through. We all have this grin and bear it attitude. That's right. We put our head down, we grit our teeth, and we get through our day. We almost become like robots at times. We learn how to endure, It's almost like I fight being aware. Have you ever noticed that? How you may even resist being aware? Someone told me the other day that their mind would just take them away. They would just, in a sense, leave their present moment. They would avoid dealing with certain things. Their mind taking them away from the present, and the stories that they told helped them to avoid feelings that they didn't want to feel. One person said, if I were more aware, I would feel more. I would feel more alone, this person said. I would feel more fear as well. And so not wanting to feel, I therefore distract myself. I avoid awareness. Awareness is no friend of mine. How many of you feel that way as well? How many of you have difficulty in your life because of a lack of awareness? I work with people all the time who don't pick up their clothes, whose rooms and offices are a mess, whose financial books are a mess, whose weight is a mess, whose relationships are so messy. And why is this? Why is this? Are these stupid people? No, you're not. I'm not stupid. When our lives become a mess, it's because we haven't chosen to be more aware. That's why we lose things and we forget things and we don't put things away. It's because we're not always conscious or aware of what we're doing. Well, being aware helps us accomplish things. But being unaware helps us accomplish other things. It helps us avoid things. Remember, most of life is either to accomplish something or help you prevent something. Pick up the phones, toll-free, 1-800-4ISSUES. We've got lines open. Now, I know this subject is not a comfortable subject, but you get on the lines and talk to me. Talk to me about whatever you're becoming more painfully aware of. Or maybe you'd like to celebrate that because of your awareness that you're now able to accomplish. 1-800-447-7837. I have a book in front of me, a book by a man named Hugh Prather. Not necessarily recommending the book, but it's called Notes to Myself, and he says something about this awareness. He says, I walked down the street, and the guy waiting for the bus, who has been waiting there for, well, God knows how long, suddenly finds something more interesting to look at than a live human being, and I do the same. Do I avoid looking at the stranger in the eye because I don't want to make contact with him, because I don't want to make him uncomfortable? Or do I turn my eyes so he can't look into me? What is there in me that I don't want him to see? Think about that the next time you're wandering around. Well, we had another wonderful Tuesday evening talking about envy. Oh, boy. There's so much to learn about envy. And those of you who were in attendance, I hope you were pleased with all the interaction, the questions. Boy, they just draw the best out in me. And what wonderful questions. What a wonderful support group we've got going on Tuesday nights there at the Holiday Inn. If you'd like to join us, you do that any Tuesday night there at the Holiday. And next week we're going to be talking about mind monitoring rules, 5 rules of optimum mental and emotional health, as well as we're going to talk about objectivity and subjectivity. How to know one from the other. It's very interesting. So I think you'll find a full evening next Tuesday night. Okay, I'm going to give you the number one more time, 1-800-447-7837. Let's get to our calls and talk to, is it Caitlin?
Yes, it is.
Hello, Caitlin.
Hi, John.
Welcome to the Issues.
Thank you. I have come to the realization recently about myself that I have a lot of ability to use my rage when I'm reacting to my husband as a kind of separating issue. And what I mean by that is that my husband recently told me that he is afraid of me when I get into one of these reactionary type of rages, I guess.
And is that what you want him to be, is afraid of you?
No. In fact, I didn't realize the similarity because my mother, for many years, had also told me that she was afraid of me, that she used various kind of metaphors to say she felt like she was the rabbit and I was the fox, and that I was one of the children in our family that she couldn't control, that I didn't follow her prescribed regimen for success. So
okay, so your rage then in one sense may help you avoid something, may prevent something, but it also may be to accomplish something. But
right.
It's not clear as to what you're trying to either avoid or accomplish. So could you tell us?
Well, I think from my perspective, and I've done a lot of praying and searching about it, is that what I realized that growing up, that my rage was a kind of self-preservation mechanism. That, I mean, when I felt that I was being unfairly attacked, or I mean, I have three siblings, and when I felt people were telling me, well, you're wrong, you're dumb, you're whatever, that rage was a really good way of, making them back down and making them
shut up.
Yeah. So it became like a self-defense, and it was very effective as that. So I'm trying
Okay, so what you're basically saying is I am a sensitive person. You're a sensitive person.
Yes.
And there's certain things that they say or might say, and so your rage basically says that they've crossed the line.
Right.
That they need to be far more sensitive than they're being.
Right. And I feel like I have a pretty high threshold before I indulge in...
Well, you may have a high threshold, but maybe what's happening is that you're not speaking soon enough about and admitting that we're on a course here, we're on a journey.
Yeah.
And the end is my rage. The end of this journey, if I don't interrupt, if I don't intercede, if I don't speak up for myself, I may be able to tolerate it and take it. But at some point, I'm going to rage on you.
Yeah.
And basically, I want you to understand that when I get to rage, it's really a statement that says either A, you've gone too far, or B, I didn't speak up soon enough.
Right.
Stay with me. I want to talk a little longer on that particular subject. We'll be right back.
Fear. It's something we all experience in life. But many of us carry fears from our early life, experience that still deeply affect us today. Listen in as John Jolliffe helps callers identify some of their past fears through the use of talk therapy. In his popular cassette entitled Escaping the Prison of Past Fears, you'll hear how you or someone you love can gain freedom from the past and enjoy the realities of today. Ask for Escaping the Prison of Past Fears, just $7.95 when you write to The Issues of Life, Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. Or for faster service, call 1-800-4ISSUES and have your Visa or MasterCard handy. Again, that's The Issues of Life, Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. Or for Visa or MasterCard requests, call 1-800-447-7837.
This is John Jolliffe, and I just wanted to continue with Caitlin for just a moment. Caitlin, are you with me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. You were talking about this rage with your husband, these rage reactions, and I said that rage oftentimes either accomplishes something or prevents something from happening. And you said something about we nailed it on the head, or you and I in our discussion.
Right.
And what was that you were saying?
Well, about how early on I need to set boundaries, that either it becomes an escalation of something I should have done early on, or
and that's a new thought for you, to set a boundary early on in a relationship, so before the apocalyptic experience.
Right.
And you said, I now can set a boundary. I've seen the value of setting a boundary as a way of avoiding these kinds of experiences, these rageful events. I can see the value in setting a boundary. But before, I was so forgiving. I was so unwilling to do that.
Right.
So understanding.
Right.
And I said, what's another word for forgiving? And you kind of went,
I don't know. I mean, I came up with understanding, but...
okay, understanding. But another word might be, I was unwilling because, to confront or to speak up, which is setting a boundary.
Right.
To confront and to speak up, I never had a good association with that. My experience in my family of origin growing up was that I wouldn't speak up or confront somebody because they were older or smarter, or they were my elders. I was taught to respect authority, and therefore,
even if it was wrong.
And therefore, if I stood up and represented myself or asked questions or said I didn't agree or confronted something, then somebody either was very sensitive to feeling that I wasn't respecting them, or they would become hurt, or they would become angry.
Or even that I might not be liked. I mean, I think that...
The fear of being liked if I shared what I felt.
Right.
You see. And therefore, whether that was true that you wouldn't be liked, whether it was true that somebody would be rageful or angry with you because they were so sensitive, or whether it was true that somebody would be so sensitive that they would feel that you were disrespecting them, whether that was true or whether it was your imagination. The point is that asserting yourself or standing up for yourself or establishing a boundary was very difficult for you, and so you became what you thought was understanding or forgiving. But really, you were afraid.
Yeah.
And so you let things go longer and longer and longer. People didn't understand that you were growing more and more sensitive and more vulnerable and more hurt until all of a sudden they saw your rage. And whether they ever got it then or not, I don't know. But the point was, you've let something go far too long before you asserted yourself.
No, I totally agree. I think that for me, it was always, rage for me was masking a deeper fear.
Yes.
For whatever it was, whether I was not going to be liked or accepted or...
Let that be your work.
Yeah.
Let the work become, what is the rage masking? Is it my fear of standing up for myself and representing my interests and my opinions that I won't be liked? You know, what is that for me? Because that's what you want to communicate with your husband early on. And you talk on that level. Okay?
Okay, John, and I just would like to encourage all of the listeners out there to support your program, because the other day you had a caller who, spoke to me, and I have been listening to your program, and I quote you to my friends, and I wrote you a check this morning, and I just want everyone to also be accountable, because I'm getting, and everyone I know, a lot of my friends listen to you, we're getting a lot from your wisdom and your gift. So I just would like to encourage everyone to support your program.
Very kind of you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Caitlin, for that unsolicited comment. And somebody, and a number of you asked me, I said yesterday we need 1,000 people, but a number of you said, well, you need 1,000 people to write what kind of check? Well, our expenses are $20,000 a month. That's right. That's what it costs to bring this to you. That toll-free line is not toll-free, and airtime costs just keep going up. There's no salary here for us. This is a volunteer effort, but everything surrounding this costs money. The tape machine that we make the daily tapes on so that you can get a recording of this costs money. Everything around here just seems to cost money, and we're bare bones, so... I'm licking the stamps and typing the envelopes, so it's not like we've got this heavy overhead. But it's about $20,000 a month, $17,000 and change. So we need 1,000 people to send a check of $20 a month, every month. And so the reason I didn't say an amount, because if I say 20 and there's people able to write a check for 50, I don't want to discourage you, because you know that not everybody's going to send 20. Some people are going to send 5. And I didn't want to say 20 because there may be somebody who could only send 5, and they'd think, well, since they can't send 20, then my 5 is not going to help. Listen, the widow's mite would help. So please, do all that you can. You can't give too early, but you can give too late. So please, I need 1,000 people to send a check of $20 a month. And you know and I know that there's more than 1,000 people out there, and you know and I know that not 1,000 people are going to respond. So do all you can. And do it consistently, please. Thank you so much, Caitlin. Let's talk to, I believe it's Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Hi.
Welcome to the Issues.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. How can I help?
Well, I can really relate. I have a funeral to go to tomorrow, and...
okay, if you could speak up a little more, please.
I'm going to be facing my husband's family, and I was in the hospital last year, because of all that I feel when I get around them. Is just so much pressure there, and I realized what you were saying to the other girl. I was really relating a lot. I thought, I better call, but oh my God.
Now, whose funeral is this?
It's my husband's grandma.
Okay, and you're going to be going there, and you're going to be confronting his family.
Mm-hmm. Not confronting, just facing them.
You'd be facing them, yes.
Being there and...
Okay, and so what is the sensitivity about being around his family? What does it represent?
In my family, my brother and sister are younger than me, but I've always felt like an outcast. And here in their family, I feel the same way.
Okay.
And
how much of this is your issue, and how much of it is the way they treat you? Have you asked yourself that question?
No.
Okay. So you're very conscious or aware of how you feel, but you're not aware of where that feeling may be coming from.
No.
You see, there could be certain things that happen when you're in social situations or family situations. Certain things that happen. Maybe somebody averts an eye, looks a different way, doesn't respond, interrupts, doesn't ask questions.
It's more what's been said.
And it could trigger whatever's been said. It could trigger an older feeling.
Yeah.
It's not, I mean, what they're saying may not mean the same thing that it meant to your family. Now, it could, but we don't know, do we? Until we become more aware of what's happening around us.
One thing that helped me is my husband told me this last week that I didn't know how bad I needed to hear it, but he said that his mom, whether she says it or whether she shows it or not, that she thinks that I'm the best thing that's ever happened to him.
Well, you know what? As much as you feel good about that, as much as that helps you, it only helps you in this present situation, in this present relationship. And the reason that you'll need to have that told to you again and again is because she's not the right person telling you that. You know what I mean?
Well, my dad, I finally had a talk with him, you know, that deep talk.
Okay.
And he is the person
All right.
that we connected it with before.
Okay.
Remember, I'm the one that wrote the song for my dad?
Oh, when my sister was on.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. That was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's the right person. Did you hear enough of the right things from the right person?
It's like one day compared to a whole lifetime, I guess that's what it is.
Yes, and let me make the point again that I made, I think, a week or so ago, or maybe I've always made it, but the point is that if the unloving parent becomes suddenly loving, genuinely loving, it still doesn't make up for the time when they weren't. That time has to be processed. That time has to be mourned. That time has to be dealt with. And after you understand it and connect it up and feel all that you're supposed to feel about that, and hopefully clarify what in an earlier age when you were young and didn't have the insight and the wisdom that you have today, you have to go back and argue the points all over again with yourself. And after you've done all that, then you need to forgive. You need to forgive him, and so that we can move on and now begin to appreciate the new relationship. It doesn't make up for the old, and when you try to have this make up for that, or other people stand in for the people who should have been loving weren't, it never works.
Right.
You see?
I try to give up the need, you know, as you've talked about. And when I get around them, it's like I try to give up that need, but yet I always feel out of place. And I know we've also talked, and you said, well, who cares what they think? And I wish that I could do that.
Yeah.
But when I'm in the situation, then it's different again.
Yeah, I'm not sure I say who cares what they think, but
Well,
I typically say that I think that people don't care as much as you think they do about, you know, you
well,
or
I
that.
guess the way I say it is that I said that to myself.
Yeah, there you go.
And that helped me.
Yeah, it
That
helps a
day
little
we
bit.
talked.
It helps a little bit, but sometimes we drag old unresolved conflicts into new situations. I want to talk to you off the air a little longer, okay, on this subject, so stay with me during the commercial, and we'll be back to talk about some other issues of life. Ronald, he doesn't believe in heaven or hell. John Jolliffe, and let's see, we have Ronald. Where is Ronald? Ronald? Yes, Ronald, are you there?
Yes, he is.
Welcome. This is, you have a question about heaven and hell.
Well, really, I have an issue. I have a friend who listens to your show regularly.
Uh-huh.
And we had a discussion one day about, I'm not totally convinced that, once you die that you go to a place called heaven or a place called hell.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, she listens to your show all this a considerable amount of time, and she begged me to call.
She begged you to call?
Yes, begged me to call.
Well, having been both to heaven and hell, I'm a good one to tell you about it.
Okay.
So she wants you to call. She wants you to call me for what reason?
I don't know. To talk to you. Maybe she thinks that you could change my mind, or maybe she could get something out of the conversation. I have no idea what she wants. But she's a good friend of mine, so I thought I'd indulge her.
Okay.
So
Well, let me ask you a question, Ronald.
Uh-huh.
Do you think I'm going to change your mind about heaven and hell?
No. And I told her that. When we were having this discussion for me. I was like, I'm not going to change his mind. He's not going to change my mind. I guess this is all just a show for her. But
well, okay. What do you want to show her?
I don't want to show her anything. I was in there reading a book. She wanted me to go.
Yeah,
okay,
but
I guess what she wanted to know was she wanted to hear, I don't know, maybe your version of why you believe that there's a heaven and a hell. Compared to mine, I have no idea.
Okay.
Because I told her once while we were talking.
Okay. Go ahead.
That there's something in the Bible that says the dead are conscious of nothing, and if the dead aren't conscious of anything, then that kind of disrupts the whole heaven and hell idea.
And you told her that the dead are conscious of nothing?
Yes.
Well, how do you know that for sure?
Well, okay, I don't know that for sure. I've never been dead.
Okay.
But
hey.
we were in a discussion about the Bible.
I understand. Well, we can go into funny places, when we've never been there. We, let me tell you. Let's start with the virgin birth, or take the ark,
Okay.
or take Adam and Eve. It doesn't really matter. Or take heaven and hell. I mean, it's all the same place to me. Okay.
Okay.
All the same subject.
Uh-huh.
The only reason I believe any of that is because I start with Jesus Christ.
Right.
I start with the resurrection. I start with the crucifixion. I mean, if that were not verifiable, then whatever you believe about whatever, I mean, why not? Maybe we all go in spaceships someplace. Who knows? We just kind of make it up. And have you ever investigated the crucifixion of Christ?
I've done a little.
Or the existence of Jesus?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's, to me, that's the safest place to begin any discussion of all these other things that seem so weird.
Mm-hmm.
You see, unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got to start with something that is believable, that is documentable, is verifiable, and then you grow from there. That's right. Does that make sense to you?
They found traces of the ark up in some mountain.
Yeah,
There are a lot of things that are verifiable.
Yeah, and I'm not even. I don't think we should start even with the ark. I mean, even that evidence. I think you start someplace else. But does that make sense to you that you start with something that is documentable, verifiable, and you grow from there?
Yeah.
Because if we could really, if we could document the existence of Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, and the resurrection of Jesus, if you could verify that, well, then the virgin birth would be certainly easier to understand or accept. And on faith, you can accept a whole lot of other things if we can get some of the foundational issues settled.
Okay.
So you see, so I don't have trouble with the ark if I can verify the resurrection and crucifixion of Christ.
Fine.
And because if that can happen, I mean, certainly you can build an ark.
I believe in it's not that I don't believe in the Bible. It's not that I don't It's not that I wasn't even raised to read the Bible or understand the events that has happened in the Bible. Nor is it not that I haven't done my own outside research into events that have taken place within the Bible.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't have trouble believing. You have trouble with faith. Faith may be difficult for you. Faith is the hope of things that are not seen.
But not only that, it's just that
Let me just take you a little different direction. Can I?
Okay, well, let me just make one point.
Okay.
You know how as man, sometimes we take factual events and kind of blow them out of proportion
Mm-hmm.
and put like a mystical aura around it, something that actually happened.
Yeah, like fishing.
Yeah.
It was this
something
big.
that actually happened, and then this whole great story gets built around it.
Yep, I've been fishing.
So maybe you say faith, but maybe that's what I mean by faith.
Okay, so let me take you to another place.
Uh-huh.
If you will look, and indulge me, okay? Indulge me for a minute.
Okay.
If you will look at your experience with trusting people,
Mm-hmm.
family of origin issues, back at childhood and other things,
Mm-hmm.
what's your experience, what kind of reputation does trust have with you?
As far as, I mean,
Well,
I'll trust my friends and my family with my life.
and you trust what your friends and family say?
Well, nobody.
You waited too long.
I'm not going to say that
You waited too long.
I'm not going to say that I totally believe everything that comes out of everybody's mouth. No.
No, not everybody. I mean, the people that you respect and you love. Do you trust what they say?
For the most part.
And or do you trust your friends more than you trust maybe your father?
No.
No what?
No, I don't trust my friends more than I trust my father.
You trust your father?
Yes.
And you trust your mother?
Yes.
Okay. Because it sometimes faith comes from trust. That if you can trust certain things to be true, then it's certainly easier to have faith in those things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's why the first day of school, it may happen with children in preschool at the church nursery, or it may happen the first day of preschool or kindergarten, where the child goes to school and that separation anxiety, it's a very growthful and important time in their life, because you have to have faith that your parents will come back and pick you up, because once you have faith in that, then you can begin to trust them with other things.
Yeah, I understand that.
And so I think that some of these issues that we struggle with theologically are really a very psychological, emotional issue with trust, and faith comes out of that. And so if you can trust certain things to be true, I think you can trust other things to be true. So I don't have any trouble with heaven and hell, because I not just blindly trust or blind faith about the resurrection, but I have done the research, I have done the work, and I understand that issue. And not just a verification from the Bible. I don't always use what the Bible says as the basis of why I believe.
No.
But there are a lot of other if something happens and it is actually proven to be true, then there should be records everywhere.
Yeah, that's
secular and otherwise.
That's what I mean about factual events.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a little, extra stuff being built around. Because there are a lot of events. The Bible has proven to be very historically accurate.
Yes.
Very historically accurate. Matter of fact, a couple of years ago...
Now you're making her case for her.
But that has nothing to do with...
Heaven and hell?
Yes. Yeah, there's a difference between...
You know, the other thing I find interesting about you...
actually happening,
Ronald,
and the stuff around the event.
You know, the other thing I find interesting about you...
What?
Is that you like this kind of stuff.
It's possible.
Oh, come on. You know you like this.
I like conversation.
That's what I mean.
I like information. I like to get more than one side, yes.
You like this mental massaging, this conversational repartee.
I was backed into a corner to do it, so...
Oh, give
I
me
may
a
as well
break.
enjoy
Ronald.
But this
Ronald,
is, look, that's not
Ronald,
what this
Ronald,
is supposed to be about.
Ronald,
this is supposed to be about our discussion on heaven and hell.
You were not backed into a corner. You feed off this. This is your entree. This is your... You love this stuff.
Okay, fine.
Now, you know you
I
do.
But let's still get back to the subject.
No, well, wait a minute. You know, we only have so much time.
I know.
And you know you're not going to change your mind. And you know I'm not interested in trying to change it. So maybe we've given this enough time. But I tell you what, would you call me again?
Uh-huh.
I enjoy this kind of repartee too.
I'm sure you do, or you wouldn't be a talk show host.
You know what you are?
What?
You're a talk show host without a talk show. Okay, my friend.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'll see you in heaven. Sorry. Maybe. Well, I'm not going to see you in hell. Let's see, where are we? You're moving these things around like I can't see them. Okay, let's talk to Renee. Going to the church, huh, Renee? Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought about what you had said last night, and I kind of noticed some resistance in myself, and I don't know if you noticed it.
Oh, wait, you were at
I was at the
you were at the meeting last night?
Yes, and I asked the question about realizing that I envied my mother's authority.
Oh, you were on the right side. My
Yes.
right side.
Yes,
Second
you're right
row.
side.
Second row. I remember you. of
That was
course.
me.
That was you. Okay. So you're afraid of confronting a woman in your church. Is that right?
Right, and I said, I was like, well, because I'm angry, and well, because it's...
Yeah. Okay.
So I wanted to really kind of look at the fear aspect of it, and thought maybe you might help me.
Okay. Good deal. Stay on the line. We'll take that question right after this commercial break, all right?
Okay, great.
Okay. My name is John Jolliffe. We'll be back in just a moment with Renee, her question about confronting a woman at church, and a whole lot of other issues, all right? So stay with me. We'll be back with the next issue of Life.
Deciding how you want your life to end is the key to figuring out what you ought to be doing today. That's the premise of a cassette series by John Jolliffe called Developing a Plan for the Rest of Your Life. In front of a live seminar audience, John outlines step by step how to reach your life's goals by working backwards from the end. The result is a fascinating analysis of your family, career, emotional development, and more. Ask for the 3-cassette series, Developing a Plan for the Rest of Your Life, when you write to The Issues of Life, Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. Be sure to include $26.95 with your request and mention that title, Developing a Plan for the Rest of Your Life. Or call 1-800-4-ISSUES and have your Visa or MasterCard ready. Again, that's The Issues of Life, Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. Or for Visa or MasterCard users, 1-800-447-7837.
The reason you heard the blank space is my engineer are talking about spoonerisms. We were talking about words. Interesting, huh? He almost forgot to do his job. Let's talk to Renee. She's on the line with us. Isn't that right, Renee? Uh-oh. There we are. Hello, Renee?
Hello?
There you are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. We were talking about confrontation and the fear of confronting people. Oftentimes we don't say what we need to say because of some fear of loss. We were talking to Caitlin earlier, and she was saying that she didn't confront her husband early on in their discussion or relationship because she was afraid, that people might not like her or misunderstand, be overly sensitive. And you may fear confronting this particular woman at church for your own reasons. What are your reasons?
It seems like there's a sort of potpourri.
Never one reason, right?
Never one reason.
Okay. Make it as complicated as you can. Okay.
I started looking at it, and I was thinking of somehow my brother's tied in it and bullies at school. And the fear feels like, it looks like to me, of being overwhelmed. Not being given permission to have my own opinion and value my own opinion.
And therefore, is this connected to the right person?
I don't think so.
If we named the name or names, would her name come up?
No,
There you go. So she's a stand-in.
Yeah.
She's playing a role for somebody else. What's the first name of the individual?
Gosh. I don't know who's listening to the radio.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about the woman at church.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm talking about the real
Gary,
person.
Mary.
Gary or Mary?
Right,
Which one?
Mary.
Mary?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're really talking about Mary. And you're playing this out with somebody else. What is it you want to tell Mary? You see, it may be very different than what you want to tell this woman at the church.
Yes, that's true.
What do you want to tell Mary?
What do I want to tell Mary? That she made my life miserable as a child, and
Because she didn't?
Didn't seem to care about me.
And if she cared about you, she would have let you...
Just be who I was and not feel threatened by that at all. I mean, she was always waiting for me and lurking for me in corners and things.
And if she would really cared about you, it's not that she would have given you the car keys or material or even physical, loving, nurturing things. But if she really cared for you, wanted to give you the greatest gift, she would let you express yourself.
Right.
Whatever you felt, whatever you thought. And even if she didn't agree, and even if she thought it was a little rough and unsophisticated, she would have worked with that.
That's true.
That's the greatest gift.
Yeah. Because what I would say, there were a couple of times that I had made comments, and then I would have to endure her wrath.
That's right. And so you learned the lesson, and what was the lesson that taught?
Don't speak up what you think.
That's right. You're not okay. And what you think and what you feel is not okay.
Yeah, I can feel that.
And you can feel that even when I talk about it.
Yeah, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah. And therefore, when you, in your later life, have relationships where somebody interrupts, won't allow, or reacts, then that triggers all those old feelings. And sometimes when we don't connect them up with a name, the right person, then this person at church gets all of this debris, all of this backlog.
Right.
You see what I mean? I think it would be helpful for you to name the name and write the letter. Write the letter and explain to Mary all the things that you haven't said and all the things that you felt and what you really, of all things, really needed from her. And then you learn to give that as you become clear in writing that letter. You don't need to send it to her because this is really between you and you.
Right.
Then when you write the letter, and therefore don't take it lightly just because you're not going to send it. But then you give yourself the permission that your mother never gave you. And if there's anybody in your life that doesn't give you that permission, you need to confront them about what you learned. And you can just take out the letter you wrote to Mary, and you can change the name.
And put their name in?
And put their name in it, and read the letter that read the letter to them that you wrote to your mother.
Okay.
And just say, look, I could change the name here.
Right, and just put whoever's name is.
That's exactly right.
Oh, that's helpful.
That way you don't have to play it out with a woman at church.
Okay, because I value writing, and I have done some of that, but I never thought about it in terms of writing Mary a letter.
There you go.
I'll do that. Thanks.
God bless.
All right, you
Support the program.
Okay,
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Nice letter I have here from Nicole. It says, Dear John, I really appreciate your show. I'm a new listener, and I've been very impressed with your insight and your kind advice. You're a wise and loving man, a rarity on radio, particularly in the psychological field. Gee, I think there's probably a lot of people in the psychological field that, well, maybe I am the only one. I hope this and this support helps you keep on the air. Thank you very much. And thanks to so many of you who are concerned and you're listening and looking to me to give you direction. We need 1,000 people to send at least a $20 check to support the ministry of the Issues of Life. It's tax deductible. Do it on a regular basis. I think you'll appreciate the value that you receive. I hope you do. Write us at Post Office Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. That's Post Office Box 611, Long Beach, California, 90801. Let's see, where are we? We're with Julian. Julian.
Hi there.
Welcome to
I appreciate your show.
Welcome to the Issues.
And I think this has more to do with a friend of mine.
Okay, I'm going to need you to speak up though for me. Okay.
Okay. I'm wondering, basically, how to deal with somebody who keeps losing money.
Okay, now I know this is very confidential, but you need to really speak up.
Okay.
You're a quiet talker, I can tell.
Yeah.
Okay, so a friend of yours can't handle finances.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
how does that friend's difficulty become an issue for you?
Oh, basically because
And don't say it's because you care, because it's
well,
more than that.
I think it's because it's become to the extreme case where everything has gotten onto the line where about to lose everything. I think that's the case it's come to right now.
You know, earlier we were talking with Caitlin, and then we were talking with, I think it was Ronald, or no, not Ronald. We were talking to someone else, I've forgotten now, but we were talking about not being able to confront and not doing it soon enough in Caitlin's position. It feels to me like confrontation may be difficult for you.
At times.
You're very quiet.
At times.
And it may be that the situation with your friend and the finances, and maybe all that you've contributed to her, has become a problem for you, and that you didn't confront early enough. You and I will talk off the air, and I'll see the rest of you tomorrow at 2 o'clock.